Taped from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, a show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
And I'm your co-host, John Trumbull. What the hell happened there? You lost all enthusiasm halfway through.
I was trying to, like listeners. Look, I don't mind telling you, I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit. Sometimes I know you hear me, and you hear the big energy man. You hear me just bringing the heat, bringing the thunder. But sometimes I don't have the heat. Sometimes I don't have the power, the Pam, the pop.
So, that was like ennui hit you mid-sentence. You were like, I mean, you came in hot. You were like, take from New Jersey. It's the SNL Nerds, the show or two comics from. I mean, it was like that.
Yeah, I came in hot and I just petered out. Just ran out of gas. Just right out the gate, Hoss.
We are like literally a minute in. and already you've just lost all enthusiasm for this. I mean, should we just put a pin in this and come back? What's going on, man? Is everything okay?
I'm over it before it began.
I mean, that's supposed to be my thing.
I'm supposed to be the downer. Oh boy! All right, but no, I will bring the heat, listeners. Do not worry. It's just I'm just getting pumped up. Don't worry.
That was just amusing. I mean, it was like, like occasionally you have like a Shatnerian pause, and I'm like, okay, that's okay. He's just messing with it, and but this time it was just like,
yeah, just like a balloon with all the air let out.
Just all of a sudden, Debbie Downer entered the chat.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I was trying to be high energy, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should bring down the energy a little bit, just so I don't sound too fake. And then it just ended up sounding like I just was in a clinical depression.
It was amusing. It was amusing.
Oh boy! All right, so how you been, sir? It's late March, getting into April flowers.
Yeah.
Doing all right, feeling the vibes.
Yeah. No.
Now that make you depressed, am I catching?
Yeah, I got things going on.
Oh boy! All right.
I don't want to get into it. I got things going on.
Okay. So, I mean, we do have some good news.
We do.
Yeah, because the strike's not happening. SNL editorial staff, the crew ratified a deal to avert the strike. So
yeah, that's good. Hopefully all sides are happy with that. I'm assuming so, since they both ratified the deal. So that's good, and we won't have a strike throwing a monkey wrench into the season.
Yeah, they're gonna go on with their inaugural contract. So hooray! April 1st is a go.
Yay!
Yeah, but until then, we still gotta do an episode. Still no new episode of SNL this week, so we decided to do an old SNL movie. Decided to go in the Wayback Machine, do an old school movie about the movie Old School.
Oh, I see what you did there.
You like that?
I see what you did there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. By the way, how is this movie 20 years old? For crying out loud.
I remember seeing this movie numerous times in this theater. Old School came out February 21st, 2003. That's a Jenna Ortega amount of time.
Oh dear, I wasn't thinking of it like that.
Yeah, no, she's as old as this movie is.
Oh my, that seems wrong somehow.
Yeah. Guys, it's gonna be a very depressing episode, just right off the bat.
This is gonna trigger a midlife crisis for us.
It really is. Movie directed by Todd Phillips, written by Todd Phillips and Scott Armstrong. Scott Armstrong also wrote the movie Road Trip, which Todd directed. Starsky and Hutch, which we talked about on this podcast. Semi-Pro, Hangover Part 2, and the TV show Search Party. This film had a budget of $24 million, made $86 million. It was a huge hit. I remember specifically when this movie came out. This is like one of the movies that kind of put Will Ferrell on the map, actually.
Yeah, this is the movie that basically like gave him a movie career. He'd done some movies before this. I know the Night at the Roxbury movie came out before this, but I mean, this was like his first hit under the belt, and this is early Will Ferrell. This is like pre-Anchorman Will Ferrell.
Yeah, and funny enough, this movie came out February 2003, November 2003, Elf. He came out with Elf. So just
Well,
'03 was a very good year for Mr. Will Ferrell.
that was. I mean, yeah. If you have two hits in a year, you are like a newly minted movie star. You're like a bankable thing now.
Yes, you are anointed. You are
Mhm.
crowned.
Yeah, yeah. And then, Anchorman, I don't think did quite as well in theaters, but it did very well on home video, and that
Yeah.
really just was what solidified him in my mind.
Yeah, it's like kind of like one of those movies where when it came out, it didn't do well, but like you said on video, like I would say like maybe like Big Lebowski would be in that same category, or Austin Powers, where
Yeah, definitely.
like once it came out on video, when people started quoting it and sharing it, that's where it started to really build its legacy.
Yeah, but this was, I mean, this, yeah, it's a college comedy, which is usually a safe bet at the box office. I mean, ever since Animal House kind of created that genre, it's been a reliable go to, and it's a genre that the movies revisit every 10 years or so, I suppose. And I guess the college comedy is maybe a little out of vogue at the moment. I can't think of the last good college comedy we had, but this is, I think, a good college comedy, and it actually has a bit of a pedigree from Animal House because Ivan Reitman was a producer on this movie.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, this does feel very much like. I mean, when this movie came out, I do think it was like kind of like the modern day Animal House, modern day Porky's, just
Hmm.
like a bunch of dudes
There's a
drinking
bit
a
of Stripes in there.
bit of stripes, bunch of dudes hanging out, seeing boobs, drinking beer. There's always like one antagonist, like some dick trying to squash their good times, but they get one
Right.
over on him, and he gets his at the end. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's usually like around kind of like that. But yeah, like I said, like I think I definitely remember seeing this movie the first time in the theaters, thinking it was awesome, and it was one of those movies where like I told other friends about it. It was like, oh, let's go see it, and they were like, well, didn't you already see it? But like, I'll watch it again. I love it. And then and it's one of those movies where like I saw it numerous times in the theaters, and like the dialogue and the lines from this movie, I definitely remember quoting numerous times to my friends, and it just like for months and months after I saw it, like you're my boy blue, and just
Yeah.
earmuffs, and all these things are just like, oh yeah, I would say that. Bring your green hat, Snoop a loop. Like I would just say Snoop a loop. Just I don't know. Like, oh, Snoop a loop. Like,
I actually liked this movie so much back in the day. I actually bought it on DVD, which kind of surprises me now.
oh,
It's uh, and I had to like dig the DVD out to watch it again for this. I had it like sort of in my back room because I was like, yeah, maybe this is one I can sell or get rid of. I don't think I'm going to rewatch old school too much anymore.
yeah, I hear
But
you.
I pulled it out again, and I was surprised. I actually have the unrated DVD, the unrated and out of control edition. Yeah, and I just got curious. I just looked it up because you always buy these because you're like, oh, it's unrated. It's the stuff the what is the rating board called? The
MPAA or NRA,
No, no.
MTV.
I wanted. I keep wanting to say the NAACP, and I know that's not right.
No, no, we don't do that.
It's like the NCCP, something like that. Anyway, whatever the ratings board is called. And so I just looked it up on IMDb, and it says the unrated DVD contains about a minute of new footage. It includes more of Frank streaking and more with Andy Dick's character, with references to animal sex and ejaculation.
Hmm.
So the new additions are one, extra 15 seconds or so of Frank streaking, the scene where he is leaving the party and runs down the street, setting off the car alarm.
Yeah.
Two, an extra 45 seconds or so with Andy Dick. Lots of stuff in this scene that was cut. And three, finally, there seems to be an additional 5 seconds or so with the naked girls in the KY jelly. So,
So if you
so,
if you want to see more of that, then you're in luck.
yeah. And also, if you want to see a lot more of Andy Dick improving in his DJ class.
Yeah, that That was odd.
That's odd. But hey, since I have the DVD here, I may as well read the back of it just to give the folks who might not have seen Old School or haven't seen it recently an idea of what it's about.
Mhm.
So here we go. It says, "Get ready for the unrated and out of control version of Old School you couldn't see in theaters.
Oh,
What's a guy supposed to do when he catches the early flight home and he finds his girlfriend in bed with a room full of naked strangers?
what?
Return to college and start a fraternity.
Yeah.
Before you can say wild and wet wrestling, Frank the Tank, Will Ferrell, Saturday Night Live, Mitch, Luke Wilson, Legally Blonde, and Beanie, Vince Vaughn, Swingers, have their own frat raging with out of control antics. But when things get too wild, the dean wants to shut them down. The laughs are on the top of the class, even if the guys aren't, in the hit comedy from director Todd Phillips, Road Trip." So there you go.
Wow, that was pretty. That's some good reading. That was.
There you go. Yeah, thank you. I broke out my morning DJ voice
Yeah.
for that.
Hey, it's a crazy morning zoo in the morning. Oh. Now I got a Led Zeppelin rock block coming at you. Pow!
Oh, you guys are so crazy.
Oh, good times.
Yeah.
But yeah, this
Well,
movie.
yeah, I was interesting revisiting this movie. I probably haven't watched it in better part of a decade. I would say you don't really see it pop up on TV much anymore.
Yeah, it's weird. The heat from this film did kind of die down. Like, I
It's
mean, I don't know.
fallen by the wayside a little bit.
A little
Yeah,
bit, but if you were there and you remember, this movie was pretty much everywhere. It was like a huge hit. Like a lot of my friends were singing "You're My Boy Blue" and just
yeah,
singing "Dust in the Wind," just for no real reason.
yeah. Watching it again, it it didn't hit me the way it used to, just because most of the jokes are so well known from this now.
Yeah,
It just doesn't hit the same way because it's not really going to surprise you like it did back in the day.
yeah, that's true. I think I'll give you that. It does. I rewatched. I still like it, but I think it's more for nostalgia than it is for this actually, the humor hitting me
Yeah,
the same
I
way.
think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Whereas, like, yeah, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. That's hilarious. Oh, I took a tranquilizer dart in the neck. All right, yeah, that's cool.
that sequence I think is very funny. I wrote that still holds up well in my notes. I think the three leads have a nice chemistry. You got Luke Wilson as Mitch, our main character, who's a real estate lawyer. He comes home, discovers that his girlfriend Heidi is cheating on him.
Yes, played by Juliette Lewis.
Yeah, and not just cheating on him in a big way. He comes home, she's in bed, she's got like a porno running on the TV,
Yeah.
and he comes home. There's a mistaken identity thing. He hears the noises from the porn video, and then he's like, "Oh no, my woman's cheating on me." And then he comes up to the bedroom. She's all alone. She's just got a porno on the TV, and he's like, "Oh, well, that's a relief." And you think, "Oh, well, it's just," but no, it's a double fake out because then a naked couple comes out of the closet. They're both blindfolded. They're in their underwear, and they're about to have an orgy.
Yeah, like it took me a minute. Like the first time I saw that, I was like, oh, they're playing hide and seek or is this how you orgy? I don't understand. Like, just walk around blindfolded? I thought you just kind of.
I guess it's one of the ways you orgy. Yeah, I don't know if there are a lot of ground rules for orgies.
Yeah, I thought you just like disrobe and get to it. Like I didn't know there was this foreplay.
I mean, I guess some orgies are more organized than others. Like from one end of the spectrum, you have like the free for all thing where you're just all in a big heap and you feel around. And then on
Yeah.
the other end of the spectrum, you got the eyes wide shut situation where everybody's like in robes and masks, and there are passwords and ominous music playing and
Ooh,
stuff. And that seems like it takes a lot more organization to
ew,
me.
how elegant. Yeah,
Yeah,
it seems like you gotta get all the masks together. You gotta get a mask guy. You gotta
right.
get like you said, candles, catering. It's a whole deal.
There's caterers. There's probably people going around with hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, I saw that
You got
episode.
to make a lot of pigs in the blanket.
Yeah, I saw that Party Down episode. I know what's up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dick Contino's Orgy Night. That's one of the better Party Down episodes. Yes.
Yeah, great episode. Yeah, so then we go from that to the wedding scene where Will Ferrell's character Frank is going to get married, and we have Luke Wilson, Mitch, and Beanie, Vince Vaughn's character, as his two of his groomsmen. And I love how they set the tone about the character Beanie is, because like
Right.
as the bride, like while they're at the altar, he's telling Frank, yeah, you got to get out of this right now.
Yeah.
You need to walk away
He's
from this.
literally trying to talk him out of it as the bride is walking down the aisle.
Yeah. Oh, you get one vagina for the rest of your life. Good. Way to think that through. Great.
Yeah. He's like, look at me. I'm married, 2 kids. Do I look like a happy guy?
Yeah. And I love how, as the father walks down the aisle with the bride, like Beanie talks to the father, saying, "Hey, it takes a man to give away an angel. You're great."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just like the quintessential Vince Vaughn character because he's like the fast talking guy, and yeah, and
He,
he's very funny, and it's kind of funny to like look back at this in the context of its time because like this was the first comedy that Vince Vaughn had done in a while.
yeah, I think.
Like because like I mean he hit with Swingers, and then after Swingers, that was like the indie hit, and then he did the Jurassic Park sequel, The Lost World, and then he was doing some other stuff for a while. He did like a few dramatic films. He did that weird Psycho remake that Gus Van Sant did,
Oof.
and this kind of brought him back to comedy. And now he's kind of mainly known for comedy, I would say.
I would say so. Yeah. Like, I mean, look it up, because I remember he did that weird. It was like a psychological drama thriller with Jennifer Lopez, like The
Uh huh.
Cell. Yeah, it was, because it's weird, because it's obvious he's really good at comedy, but I think he
Yeah.
kind of wanted to be known for more than that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you said, he did the Lost World, Jurassic Park, and some sort of indie dramas. Return to
Yeah.
Paradise. Oh, Clay Pigeons. I remember that movie.
Clay pigeons. Yeah. He did.
Yeah,
I'm
and
picturing him in like a sheriff's uniform, and Janine Garofalo is there. Is
yeah,
that anything? I don't know what that was.
yeah, no, and
Um,
Joaquin Phoenix was in it. I remember it just because back when I was working in college, we got like a free screening to see that movie to write in the college newspaper, and then we got to interview all of them for like our for our newspapers or whatnot, or our college newspapers. It's pretty cool.
oh, so did you get to talk to Vince Vaughn back in the day?
A little bit, like it was like a thing where like it was like a press thing. It was in a hotel, and it was like early in the morning, and like they put all the reporters, and me included, like in different rooms, and then they would have each of the stars go into each room
Oh
and
yeah,
interview
doing
all the
doing the
reporters.
round robin thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
but like from what I remember, it seemed like there was like a huge party the night before, and everybody seemed like kind of out of it. I remember Janine and I think Vince, like, lit cigarettes and smoked and had coffee, and I think somebody even asked Vince Vaughn about it, and they was like, "Oh, so it was a pretty wild night last night." I was like, "Yeah, last night was good. This morning, bad." But from other than that, they were pretty. They were all pretty cool. I remember that
Yeah,
much.
yeah. So I mean, like Vince Vaughn, he kind of continued in the comedy vein after this. Yeah, like I know he had a cameo in Anchorman. He did Wedding Crashers, which did very well.
Uh,
He did the breakup with Jennifer Aniston. So he went a lot more in the comedy direction after this. I think he kind of
yeah,
figured out, okay, this is my brand, or these are a lot of fun to do, so I'm going to do more of these.
yeah, he was Starsky and Hutch, which we talked about, which was kind of a more of a dramatic role the way he played it.
Well, he
Uh,
played it more straight, yeah, and that's another Todd Phillips movie.
yeah,
So
Dodgeball, and
oh
Beetlejuice.
yeah, Dodgeball. How could I forget Dodgeball? Yeah.
I mean, well, the breakup was more of a, it was odd. That was a drama and comedy type of thing.
Well, yeah, there's goofy comedy stuff, but there's also some real emotional stuff in there too.
Yeah, but yeah, it's, I don't know. Either way, I for a while I did think that Vince Vaughn was going to be like, kind of like maybe like the new, like a Bill Murray esque type of comedic
Hmm.
actor, just like that fast talking, slick talking, yet lovable, yet a little sleazy kind of dude. Like
Right.
I really see him going that way, but he just kind of did like all these other type of films that it didn't. I guess he didn't go the way I thought he would. but
But I think he's got a pretty good career, and
yeah,
I mean, I think all these guys have a pretty good career, and like I was saying, they have a nice chemistry together.
yes,
Uh,
absolutely, absolutely,
so yeah, you buy these guys as old buddies, which I think you really need for the movie to properly work.
right.
So like Mitch breaks up with his girlfriend, and then he since they were living together, he's got to get a new place. He gets a new house, and it's a house that's right across from a college campus. They say it was an old professor's house who passed away.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
Oh, we should back just to backtrack a minute. At Frank's wedding, we see the Dan Band, who we also
Yeah,
saw in Starsky and Hutch, and we also see in The Hangover. I think just the first Hangover movie. But I am so amused by the Dan Band.
dude, the damn band rocks so hard. I think this is the movie where I became aware of them, and
Yeah.
I bought their album. Me and my friends, we saw them live one
Oh,
time.
nice,
Yeah, it was.
nice.
I think it was like at the old BB King's in Times Square, but still, it was pretty rocking. Like, I don't know. It was. This was one of those like scenes where all he's doing is just singing totally clips of the heart, and then infusing like some curse words here. It's see
Right.
the fucking look in your eye.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like,
and Will Ferrell plays it beautifully, where he's just like doing this sort of subtle double take, like, did he just say what I think he said? And then like the lead singer starts swearing more and more.
yeah, and it was one of those things where like when I think after this, I swear after this movie, I remember more people singing totally clips of the heart at karaoke nights than I did before. Like
Sure.
I'm pretty sure this film attributed to a lot of Bonnie Tyler love in the
Yeah.
karaoke bars.
Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it?
Yeah. And I need you more tonight. I fucking need you more than ever. Love it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just funny stuff, and yeah, they've popped up in several of Todd Phillips's films, and
Yeah,
they're always kind of fun to see.
right.
Um,
And also at the wedding, Mitch meets up with Nicole, played by Ellen Pompeo.
Ellen Pompeo, a pre Grey's Anatomy Ellen Pompeo. I remember very distinctly. This was the first place I saw Ellen Pompeo, and I was like, "Oh, hey, who is this young lady? She is quite attractive." And I
Ellen,
think I might have watched Grey's Anatomy at first because I was like, "Oh yeah, that's the woman from Old School. Yeah, she's cute. I'll check this out."
yeah, Ellen Pompeo.
Yeah. So and it's funny to think that like she went to Grey's Anatomy not long after this, and then she was on that for like 20 odd years. Didn't she like just leave the show?
She just left the show, and I think the show is still going on. I think it's in its 20th year,
Yeah.
which is bananas.
That is bananas crazy town. I haven't watched it in forever. Don't know anyone who's on it now.
Uh,
But it's
yeah,
it's it's so weird. The show is still going even though the title character has left.
yeah.
I don't know if they introduced another Gray somewhere along the line.
Yeah, like my daughter is now the head, I guess, or son.
Yeah, she's almost at the point like if she had a daughter on the show early enough, the daughter could be going to med school
Yeah,
now.
be like a family business.
Exactly. I know they killed off Patrick Dempsey a few years back.
Yeah, Sandra Oh, I don't think is on it anymore, and
No, yeah, she left. Isaiah Washington got written out early on. Uh,
yikes.
Katherine Heigl not on. The guy who's the other guy, the young guy.
The young guy.
Well,
Uh,
he was another resident, and
uh,
anyway, I don't remember the actor's name. I'm not going to get sidetracked on that. Anyway, he's not on it anymore.
yeah.
Um,
Okay, but yeah. So Mitch has to move out. He has a new house, like pretty much on the campus.
yeah,
And of course, the Beanie and Frank help him move in.
right.
Uh,
And they decide to throw a housewarming party thing that just turns into an absolute rager because Beanie, Vince Vaughn's character, he runs like several electronic stores, like a Circuit City type of thing. I forget the fake name for their fake store, but
Speaker City.
Speaker City. There you go. So he runs several speaker cities. He says he's like worth 3 million that the government knows about. So,
Mm.
um, so he's yeah. So it's this big rager, and everybody from the campus is showing up, even though no one there knows Mitch.
Yeah, like I was wondering, how do they get all these people here if they don't they're unknowns? How did I don't know.
It's a party, right across the street from a college campus. I don't think it's that tough of a thing.
Hmm.
You know, you come here, you will get free booze, and they're letting all the ladies in free. I don't think it's that unbelievable.
Huh. All right. All right. Okay. Well, sounds like somebody's been to a party or two, braggart.
I mean, not since before the days of this movie being out, but
I
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Okay.
Um,
And they also kind of point out that Frank has a bit of a history, a bit of a past. He was known as
yes,
Frank the Tank back in
yeah,
the day.
yeah. We see early on, we see his wife kind of cautioning him, like, "Oh, well, don't have any alcohol at the party tonight. We don't want to see Frank the Tank come back." Uh, and at the party, Frank, he decides to do just like one beer bong.
Yeah, just the one.
Just the one, and then and that unleashes the beast, and then he has another, and before we know it, he's drunk, and he's like, "We're going streaking," and we see some naked Will Ferrell in
Yeah, and
this.
I mean, according to IMDb trivia, Will Ferrell actually was naked during those scenes,
Yeah,
like just dong out, uh, butt cheeks for the whole world to see.
they say in the commentary, yeah, he did not do the little modesty sock thing, or modesty patch, whatever it is.
Right. According to him, he was really naked. He justified it by saying it showed his character falling off the wagon. The fact that it made sense was the reason I was really into doing it and why I was able to commit on that level. He explained to the BBC, the channel, not the uh, website search. If it was, if it
Whoa!
was, if it was just for the sake of doing a crazy shot, that I don't think it makes sense. Still, Farrell needed some liquid courage as he was intimidated by the presence of Snoop Dogg. That's right, Snoop Doggy Dogg makes an appearance in this movie.
I had frankly forgotten that Snoop Dogg has a cameo in this movie. Yeah, he shows up as the musical guest at the party. It's kind of justified. They say that, because Beanie owns all these speaker cities, he's got connections in the music business, which I guess is sort of plausible. And on the commentary, Todd Phillips said that he got Snoop Dogg to cameo in the movie because I guess he already had the Starsky and Hutch movie in the works, which was like the year after this, and Snoop Dogg wanted to play Huggy Bear, and he was like, "Oh well, if you do the cameo in this movie, I'll give you the part of Huggy Bear." So there was a little bit of quid pro quo working here.
Right, and also on stage, I don't know if you know, Bishop Don Magic Wand was also on the stage with him, who's like kind of Snoop Dogg's like friend or partner. I know he was like a legit like pimp back in the '70s, but I think like in around this time he sort of became Snoop's advisor or friend or something.
Kind of segued away from the pimping.
Yes,
I hear the pimping is not easy.
it is not easy.
Yeah,
It's so hard.
it,
Also,
it is hard out there for a pimp.
it
Yes.
is, and also about Frank's streaking scene. It was shot on a city street, as Will Ferrell remembered it. One of the storefronts was a 24-hour gym with stairmasters and treadmills in the window. According to Will Ferrell, I was rehearsing in a robe, and all these people are in the gym watching me. I asked one of the production assistants, "Shouldn't we be telling them I'm going to be naked?" Sure enough, I dropped my robe, and there were shrieks of pure horror. After the first take, nobody was at the window anymore. I took that as a sign of approval.
Yeah, I read that too. Yeah.
Yeah, uh,
Funny story. Funny behind the scenes story.
brave man, brave man.
Yeah.
Okay, and of course, so he goes streaking through the streets. Him and we cut to his wife with her girlfriends talking about how one of them signed her up for a blowjob class, and they're all driving out, to get something to eat. And then, of course, as they're driving, they see Frank running through the streets by himself, no
Yeah.
clothes, naked.
Yeah, because nobody follows him for the streaking.
Yeah,
Nobody else is feeling the streaking vibe.
yeah, I think he was trying to get the whole party into it. It's like, yeah, we're streaking, let's do it. Do the
Right.
quad into the gymnasium. And absolutely no one wants to do it,
Yep. Yep.
as you do. And also at this party, Mitch hooks up with a young lady, young Eliza Cuthbert.
Yes, who at this point I think was probably only known for 24. It was definitely before Happy Endings, which is, I guess that's what she's best known for these days.
I
Or maybe 24 still. 24 is a more popular show, so probably 24.
I would say, yeah. I mean, like Happy Endings. I still think it's one of the most underrated comedies. It's so funny, but not a lot of people know about it. Only like I think like only two comedy nerds know about it. So I would
It's like you and one other person. Yeah.
you yes.
Oh, yeah, I guess it would be me. I did mention that show by name, so yes.
Yeah, so I would say 24, man. Or she was in that other movie, The Girl Next Door. So maybe that. But
Yeah, yeah. I remember that movie. I saw that movie back in the day.
yeah, I think like a young Paul Dano was in it, if I'm not mistaken.
I rewatched that one not too long ago, maybe like sometime within the last year, where it's like late at night, and I'm just like, okay, I'll watch this on streaming, and this is something I can fall asleep to and not care. And I ended up watching the whole thing, and it was like, wait, Paul Dano was in this? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
very very weird. Young Paul Dano,
yeah. Emil Hirsch,
Emil Hirsch, and the third guy, the
Timothy
third
Oliphant.
guy whose name I do not know.
Yeah, Timothy Oliphant was in it. So
Timothy Oliphant, he was very good.
yeah.
Timothy Oliphant was good. Yeah, he was probably the best thing about that movie.
Oh boy.
Um, it's not that great of a movie, you people.
Yeah, I think it's. I never saw it, but I could tell that this is one of those like Maxim movies where it's just like, hey, is this cute chick
That
with
sums
boobs?
it up very well.
It's
Yes,
a
yes, it
Maxim
is.
movie. Yeah.
It's a Maxim movie, and it's like, yeah, it's
It's like, hey,
anyway,
bro, you like boobs? Watch this movie.
yeah. So the day after the party, Mitch is there, Beanie is there. He crashed there, and he discovers that the dean comes by. The dean, played by Jeremy Piven, who, like, just 10 years before this movie, less than 10 years, he was the college student in the college comedy. Do you remember
Oh,
PCU?
yeah, with David Spade and John.
David Spade. Yeah. Hey, we could actually do PCU sometime. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
forgetting that David Spade was in that movie. But
and
yeah,
yeah, John Favreau, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, John Favreau is in it. And yeah, so it's kind of funny that, like, less than 10 years later, he's playing the dean in another college comedy. Yeah,
Uh,
so,
e-
so
Either die
Jeremy
hero.
Piven comes in. He's got a bit of a history with the guys. He was like somebody's little brother, and they used to, like, make fun of him and, like, lock him in a dumpster,
Yeah,
which seems mean. I think our protagonists are probably assholes.
probably.
Um,
They call him Cheese, but
they call him Cheese. Yeah,
for reasons
yeah.
unknown, they never explain it. I was like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, Cheese.
yeah, but he explains that he's actually the dean of the college now, and that he's had the house rezoned to be part of campus. So now they have 1 week to vacate the premises
Oh,
because the house is only zoned for social services and student housing, and they are not students,
mm.
and so this leaves them in a bind.
It does. It does. It's a bit of a pickle,
Now,
as it
since
were.
our protagonist Mitch is actually a real estate lawyer, as they established, like, right off the bat, you'd think, oh well, he's going to, like, examine the zoning laws, or examine the contract, and maybe go to court to fight this
No,
because he, like, literally just moved in. No, that is not what we're doing in this movie. It's not that kind of movie.
yeah. Why would you do that? Like, yeah, I was always wondering, like, why did they make him specifically a real estate lawyer? Like, it doesn't really come into play in the movie at
I
all.
guess they just wanted to give him some sort of respectable occupation, some sort of white collar job that contrasted with the fraternity shenanigans that ensue. I don't know.
I guess.
I don't know. It sort of plays into the plot, I guess. It gives
Sort of.
him a reason to interact with Ellen Pompeo, like, midway through the movie.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. I also like this movie. How I think at this point we're like 20 minutes into the movie, and Frank and his new bride Marissa are in couples counseling, couples therapy
Yeah, yeah,
immediately. Like they
yeah.
just
Well,
got
I
married.
mean, sometimes couples have, like, counseling before marriage. I hear that's supposed to be a good idea. Just to make sure you're on the same page and all that.
Right? Yeah,
But yeah, it's already a troubled relationship.
yeah. And the trust tree and the nest.
Yeah. And yeah, Frank kind of talks about, we kind of get the feeling that Frank might not be ready for marriage.
Yeah. I mean,
He's like, hey, I'm just supposed to have, like, one vagina for the rest of my life, really? And then he just sort of, like, points at his wife and just mouths, her.
Yeah, and I think at this point, like I think the two of them decide to get some time apart, and
Yeah,
Frank kind of stays at Mitch's house for a little bit,
right.
and then Mitch comes in one day and he sees that Beanie is in there with a ton of pledges in his living room, and because
He
Beanie,
has a gathering. Yeah,
yes,
is
and,
um,
and he wants to start a fraternity where they will give nothing back to the community.
he wants to. Yeah, yeah. He actually says that, and yeah, we've got a bunch of near do wells, a motley crew. Some students, some not. Some people in their 30s, like the guys who are ready to join up this fraternity. I guess Beanie's just spread the word through his Speaker City stores.
Yeah, yeah. Like some of them are college students, like the one they call Spanish,
Yeah,
the one that
which
goes
seems racist to me.
a little bit, little bit.
Like maybe we shouldn't call this guy solely by his ethnicity. Maybe that's not the greatest
Hey,
nickname he could get. Maybe he could get a nickname connected to his personality.
it's like, oh no, it's like Jimmy the Greek. It's like he's Jimmy
Yeah.
and he's Greek. There's also, of course, Weensy, the heavyset gentleman, and
Roly poly black dude.
yes, and
Yeah.
Simon.
I don't know the character actor's name, but he popped up in a lot of things around this time.
I feel like he was in Me, Myself, and Irene too, if I'm not
He was
mistaken.
like one of the sons. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we get Simon Helberg, I believe, who went on to be in Big Bang Theory.
A pre Big Bang Theory, a pre Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. Simon Helberg.
Right. Oh,
Yes.
go back and listen to that episode, guys.
We've got stand-up comedian and character actor Eddie Pepitone in
Hey,
there.
nice.
We've got Rob Corddry, a pre-Daily Show Rob Corddry.
Yeah, yeah, we get him too. He's in there, and
Yeah. No dialogue, I don't think, but
he did.
he's there.
Yeah, he like Eddie Pepitone had one line, and I think he had more dialogue than Rob Corddry did.
Yeah, yeah. Something I realized, like by this point in this movie, I was like, there are a lot of funny people in this movie that are really underutilized.
Yeah,
I mean, we haven't even mentioned Leah Remini plays Vince Vaughn's wife, and she doesn't have a whole lot to do.
I mean that's the one thing I kind of picked up on watching it recently. Like as I have a more refined and mature mind these days. It's like
Yes,
yeah,
I've always said that about you.
yes,
Yes,
exactly. As I adjust my monocle and ascot, it
right.
it does seem like the women in this movie aren't given a whole lot to do.
No, no, it feels like at some point they literally said, "Hey, we got a lot of women folk in this movie. We should have a scene where they have something to do. What should they do? Oh, I know. Let's have a scene where they're all getting instructions on how to give blowjobs, and the blowjob instructor will be played by Andy Dick."
Perfect.
And it's we know women.
Yeah. We know what the gals like. They like the blowjobbies.
First of all, I don't know if this is a thing. I don't know if like blowjob classes actually exist. I suppose they could conceivably exist. I don't know. I've never heard about this being a thing.
I'm kind of afraid to look it up on my phone, so
Yeah,
let's
no,
just say,
I'm not going to Google that. Not even on the incognito tab.
yeah. You'll definitely be
It,
on the list.
it, and we've got Andy Dick, just a totally random cameo. I think he was in Road Trip in some fashion, right?
He was, yes.
Yeah. Um, and he's wearing this weird wig with like a page boy haircut, like a Little Lord Fauntleroy sort of thing. And they even talk about it on the commentary. Like Todd Phillips is like, yeah, Andy Dick insisted on wearing this, and then like later at the premiere, he was like, why did you let me wear that wig?
Yeah, that was a choice. Definitely a choice.
It's a choice. It's like Andy Dick wandered in from another movie. He's got all the women have like these giant carrot sticks or cucumbers and things, and they're all learning proper BJ technique.
Yeah, he definitely I don't know. Yeah, it seemed like the movie was operating on one level, and Andy Dick was like, I'm gonna go to a whole different level.
Yeah, that's I. it's just a weird sequence that really has nothing to do with anything else in the movie.
Yeah, he was like, I don't want to fit the tone of this film at all.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And we have a thing where Frank's wife is, performing the moves, and she is like lined up right in front of Andy Dick. So like when Frank wanders by the window of his house, he sees this from just the wrong angle, and it looks like she is performing fellatio on Andy Dick.
Right. And
Which,
then, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and then he goes in to strangle Andy Dick, as you do. Andy
right.
Dick overpowers him.
Which is generally the right reaction to finding Andy Dick in your house under most any circumstances.
Yeah, just grab a weapon and commit the choking.
Yep.
But Andy Dick's character overpowers him, slams him to the ground, breaks the table, and pretty much, wins the fight.
And that is like the last anyone sees of Andy Dick in this movie.
Yeah, it's never brought up again, ever.
It's totally random. You could edit out this entire sequence, you wouldn't miss it. But they said for the unrated DVD, no, we need another 45 seconds of this.
Yeah.
This is comedy gold right here.
The people have spoken, and we need this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
what should we put in this unrated edition for the DVD? Should we put in more female nudity? 5 seconds of that should be good. More Will Ferrell nudity? Another 15 seconds. That's good. What do we need? Another 45 seconds of?
Yeah,
Andy Dick giving BJ instruction.
That's where the gold is.
Yeah, and that gives us a full minute and 5 seconds to add on to this movie, and that it is officially not MPPA rated. Hey, I remembered the acronym.
There you go. We did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, if we can get to one of my favorite scenes, like one of the scenes I thought was the funniest was the one where they were picking up the pledges for their initiation.
Like, that is a very funny scene. Yes.
Like they're like it's Mitch and Beanie and Frank literally zooming through the streets, playing Master of Puppets, committing all types, just going at 80 miles an hour, just tackling people, smashing into shopping carts.
Kidnapping people from grocery store parking lots.
Right. Telling their wives, if you tell anybody anything about this, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
And then he lifts the pantyhose off his head, and he's like, no, and he's fine. We're just kidding around. But yeah, that's probably one of the funniest sequences in the movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Still works like gangbusters. Very funny.
It's good. And also, so the initiation there is the
cinder blocks.
Cinder blocks tied to the pledges of penises.
Right, but not directly. They're on long ropes, and they're standing on a ledge, and then they're supposed to like toss the cinder block over the ledge, and the joke is that there's too much slack on the rope, so that the cinder blocks will just land on the ground and nobody's like pulled off. But one of the cinder blocks lands on a manhole cover, and the manhole cover comes open, and the roly-poly black dude is just pulled off the ledge and by his penis, and wackiness ensues.
Yeah, that's da.
Yep.
Very much so. So so it seems like the frat is getting off the ground. Of course, Dean Pritchard hears about this. He's trying to stop it. He doesn't understand how there are.
Ooh, I gotta shut down that frat. Yeah. Ooh, ooh. That's Dean Pritchard right there.
Yeah. Delta House needs to be shut down.
They're on double secret probation.
So I think they've just been approved for a temporary status. They found a loophole somehow, and Dean Pritchard's like, half these people don't even go to this school, so how can this happen? So, he's trying to slowly shut our heroes down.
Yes.
And
excuse me.
Yeah, and then we also, the people at Mitch's job want in on the frat. We get two of the people that he works with are Matt Walsh and Artie Lang from Howard Stern.
Yeah, Artie Lang and Matt Walsh, and not Matt Walsh, the awful right-wing person, Matt Walsh, the cool Matt Walsh from the Upright Citizens Brigade.
Yes, the good Matt Walsh.
and deep.
Yes, absolutely.
And like literally every time I go on Twitter and I see somebody who's like, "Oh, can you believe this awful thing that Matt Walsh did?" And I'm like, "What? The cool upright citizens brigade guy?" And no, there's like this other Matt Walsh who's like a horrible right wing
Oh,
person, and I just hate him for having the same name and causing me any confusion.
yeah, Matt Walsh. You got to change it. Call yourself Matty Walsh or something.
I mean, real Matt Walsh, I am sorry that I ever doubted you. I'm
Mm,
sorry that, I thought that you were some right wing nut job, and I'm glad that you are apparently not.
absolutely.
Or if you are, that you just keep it confined to your private life.
Yes, just
Yeah.
keep it on the low.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this Matt Walsh, he's pretty much been in every Todd Phillips movie, so it just makes sense that he'd be in this one. I know
Yeah.
he was definitely in The Hangover. I'm pretty sure he was in Road Trip and the other Todd Phillips films as well.
Yeah, he does. I do remember he plays the doctor in The Hangover who doesn't want to give them directions.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
He's very funny in that. Yeah, he's a good, reliable character actor. And he was on Veep for years and years and years. Probably what he's best known for. And yeah, he was in Upright Citizens Brigade back
One,
in the day.
yeah, one of the founders of UCB.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But yeah, he's
And
good stuff.
yeah, yeah. And at this point, kind of becomes clear that this movie, to a large degree, is like a comedic Fight Club. Basically, like this guy, he starts this men's group that just causes all sorts of havoc in his life.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's
so it's like Fight Club, but funny.
yes, exactly.
And we have comedic things like he's in his office, he's going over a lease with Ellen Pompeo, as you do, and then two of his pledges come in and they're like, we can't get the KY jelly in the large tubs, we got to get it in the 4-ounce tubes, which totally won't work.
Yes, part of me is thinking, why would you go to his office? Can't you? This is a phone call, guys. Come on.
It really is. You don't, and you can just come in and tell him about the situation. You don't need to bring in the entire tub of 4-ounce tubes of KY
He needs to see the
to
KY.
illustrate the issue.
He's a visual learner. He needs to see this.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I think we kind of forgot to mention at the first party at the Mitch Palooza, Mitch hooks up with Elisha Cuthbert's character Darcy, and he wakes up with her the next morning. Doesn't really remember hooking up with her the night before, and then he finds out like the next day at the office that she is in fact the daughter of his boss Terry O'Quinn from Lost, and one of my favorites, The Rocketeer.
Mm.
And not only is she the daughter, she is the high school age daughter.
Yeah, that was a weird thing to put in
And
this movie. The statutory.
yeah, and he says, "Can you believe that in 7 months she's graduating high school?" So this
Oh,
this young lady, almost certainly underage,
yeah.
likely 17 at the oldest, and
Whew.
I mean, he didn't know that he slept with an underage girl, but he slept with an underage girl, and wacky hijinks. I feel like that might not be a gag in a movie today.
No, Lord, no, not at all.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that part was like, oh, yikes, yikes on
yeah,
bikes.
yeah.
Ooh, and
And
it's never really brought up. I mean, it's brought up a little bit later
we
on,
see
but
her once more, where yeah, she's wearing like a lacrosse jacket, and she says she has a thing with prom committee, and
oh boy,
yeah,
oh boy,
yeah,
ye gods, yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
We're just like, oh well, that's a thing that's in this movie.
yeah, just casual statue. Hey, there's also a birthday party. Let's talk about that.
There's a birthday party. Yeah. This is one of the other funnier sequences. Beanie's kid is like turning 6, and he's throwing a pool party for him, and he's got livestock there, and
Yeah, because apparently Beanie's just got it like that. Just
well, he says he's worth 3 million that the IRS
knows
knows
about.
about. So
Yep.
yeah, he can afford to do a birthday party with a, what was it? Was it a donkey? I think it was a
There's
donkey.
a donkey. He's dressed as a birthday clown. He
Hmm.
has Spanish dressed up as like in one of those like one of those suits you see the people dressed up in Times Square. like the
Yeah, it's like a mascot. He's kind of
yeah,
like a Chuck E. Cheese type of mascot
yeah,
thing.
and he also invited Nicole to bring her daughter to the party as well.
Right, that's our rationale for getting Ellen Pompeo in this scene, and we meet Ellen Pompeo's Nicole's boyfriend, who's a jerky guy, and he's played by the first host of the Daily Show,
Craig Kilborn.
Ray Kilborn. Thank you. I was momentarily blanking on his name and playing a jerk, and from what I understand, kind of typecasting.
Yeah,
Um,
I've heard a lot of stories. Heard a lot of stories about him.
yep,
I mean,
yep.
there
Um,
might be a reason why you don't really hear about him anymore.
yeah, he kind of went away.
Yeah, he had a moment there where like
He had a moment. He had a moment where, yeah, he did the Daily Show, and then he segued from that to the Late Late Show, and then that was pretty much it for him.
yeah, that was just kind of fizzled out, and
Yeah, I remember very distinctly, like Jon Stewart's final Daily Show. They got pretty much all the old correspondents to come back and say goodbye to Jon Stewart, and as everybody's coming back one by one, they're getting like applause. And some people are getting more applause than others. Like Stephen Colbert gets the most applause, John Oliver gets slightly less, and and so on down the line. And
right.
then when Craig Kilborn showed up, I don't think anyone recognized or remembered him, so he didn't get much of any applause.
Yeah, like he wasn't even in the studio. It was like a video thing, right?
Yeah, it was. Well, I
But
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
but yeah, I do remember that. Like when he came on saying, hey, John, good luck," and then like, yeah, it was eerily
no
quiet.
applause of recognition. No, hey, we're happy to see this person again. Because I think a lot of the Daily Show kind of became the Daily Show under Jon Stewart.
Yeah, it
It
did.
was a thing under Craig Kilborn, but it wasn't the thing that it became.
Yeah, no, Stewart definitely took it to like the next level.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And the next level beyond that.
and beyond.
And
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, like
by the way, did you have you been watching any of the guest hosts on the Daily Show lately?
a little bit, just like the YouTube clips here and there. You know, I've seen Al
Yeah,
Franken and Hassan
yeah.
Minaj.
I watched Al Franken this last week, and yeah, not very good.
Oh,
I was like, I watched this, and I was like, yeah, Lauren, I think you made the right call not giving him Weekend Update back in the
oh
day.
shit. Yeah, like I've heard Al can be a bit of a prickly pear.
Well, I just, I'm not. It's not about him being a prickly pear or anything like that, but I just didn't think he was all that great of a host. I just
Mm,
don't. I thought he was kind of awkward and ill at ease.
wow.
And yeah, but the person I thought really hit it out of the park was Cal Penn. Cal Penn was like the week before last, and I thought he did a terrific job.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I'm like, yeah, give this guy the permanent gig.
Okay. Wow. I'll give it a shot. I'll check it out. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
In this upcoming month in April, they're going to give all the correspondents a shot to host it. So it'll be like,
I know that feels very perfunctory. That's like, well, we don't know who we're going to use, so we may as well give all the correspondents a shot.
yeah, Dulce Sloan, give it a shot. See what you think.
Yeah, yeah, okay, we'll get them in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, the birthday party.
Oh yes,
Um,
Mark, Craig Kilborn, jerky character,
Jerky
sleazily.
character.
Yeah,
Mitch catches him making out with one of the caterers in the bathroom. So
which
we know he's a jerk, and he's the jerky boyfriend who's cheating on the good woman. And whenever we do this trope now, I'm always like, well, why is this seemingly rational woman with the jerky guy in the first place?
it never makes sense. It always
Is her
happens.
radar that broken that she can't pick up that the guy is a jerk?
I don't. Maybe I don't know. I've never dated a jerky person, so I don't know. It could be one of those things. Like a lot of people have gone through that, where all their friends can see that their boyfriend or girlfriend is a true piece of trash, but for whatever
Right.
reason they can't until like something blatant happens. So maybe it's something like that. I don't know. It sucks, man. God, people out there, just know if the person you're dating is trash or not. Know your worth.
Yeah, I mean, that is a basis in life, but it's become such a movie trope where the jerkiness is so pronounced. I guess this movie keeps it at a believable level. I mean,
Yeah,
you can believe because like people cheat on other people, and sometimes people have no idea.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I did think it was weird though. Like the guy was like making out with somebody else while his girlfriend was at that the same party. That is
Right. And they're near
brazen.
a window too, in a bathroom.
Yeah, I was about to
And
say.
Mitch just like accidentally walks in on them, and you can tell he's really a jerk because he's unrepentant about it. He's like, oh, so we're just not knocking now, and then he's like, hey, Mitch, you're not going to say anything, right? Because that wouldn't be cool.
Yeah.
So
Tell it on your friends. That's something chicks do. You're not a chick, are you?
yeah, yeah,
What a what a piece of garbage.
yeah, yep, 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 yep.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
somebody who's not a piece of garbage, we get a cameo from Mr. Sean William Scott, who plays the animal wrangler at this backyard party.
he's got a bit of a mullet thing going on, little half a patchy mustache beard thing going on, and
Yeah,
he's of course one of the actors that Todd Phillips also used in Road Trip. So
right.
yeah, Todd Phillips, he seems to be a director when he really likes somebody, he's going to reuse them and put them in a lot of his movies.
You will work.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. And yeah, and this is the scene where I talked about earlier where Frank is at the party. Apparently he's just in like a robe and pajama pants and a t-shirt.
sure.
It's just Lebowskiing it. And
Uh huh.
yeah, and apparently he just sees the tranquilizer gun just lying there in the pony pen, and is like, "Oh wow, that's pretty cool. What is this?" And then, of course, he accidentally shoots himself in the neck, which wackiness ensues as a tranquilized man just kind of lumbers around the party, crashing into a table full of presents, and of course, falling face down into the pool.
Yeah, this is also one of the funnier sequences in the movie, because like after he gets tranquilized, we kind of see the rest of the scene from Frank's point of view, and things are running in slow motion, and we hear him going like, "You're crazy, man. You're crazy." They mess with the audio to make it sound like he's drugged. It's pretty funny, and like no less of a fan than David Letterman said that was like the funniest thing he'd seen in like 10 years in a movie.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they
Wow.
said on the commentary. Anyway,
Huh. Whoa, whoa. That's high praise.
yeah.
High
So
praise. I do like as how he fell into the pool. They started playing "Sounds of Silence" by Simon and Garfunkel,
yeah, a little graduate tribute halfway through the movie. I wasn't expecting that.
and yeah, and of course he starts to hallucinate that he's on a beach with his wife Marissa, and like
Hmm.
he hallucinates. He starts like she starts to lean in and kiss him, but it's actually um, Sean William Scott's character. I think his character's name is Peppers in the
Okay, yeah, sure. Let's say it's Peppers.
according according to the IMDb. But yeah, he's giving him mouth to mouth, and of course their tongues touch. And he's like, dude, this dude tried to kiss me. And of course, then he kicks him back into the pool in disgust.
Yes.
As you do.
Yeah. So yeah, like one of the funnier sequences in the movie. And let's see what else we've got. As I mentioned before, we got KY wrestling going on
Yeah, we do.
at the fraternity house, and Blue, who's the elderly member of the fraternity,
Yeah.
who's 89 years young. He is getting ready to wrestle two young ladies in a tub full of KY jelly. Um,
Hey, happy birthday.
I don't even know if that's like a safe thing to do.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm in my 40s, and that don't sound safe to me.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
of course, it's a good way to get some gratuitous boobage in this
yeah.
film.
The movie's been kind of light on the gratuitous nudity so far. I don't know why I just said the word nudity so weird, but
I didn't want to say anything. I was like, why is he saying?
nudity.
Why is he saying it like that?
Yeah, so yeah, at this point in this movie, all we've seen is Will Ferrell's butt. So we want to have some equal opportunity. So we have a couple young ladies getting topless.
Uh-huh. And of course, Blue is ready to strike, and he all he sees is the woman, but he's not moving. He falls over backwards, and of course, and cuts to Blue's funeral. Will
Yeah,
Ferrell singing "Dust in the Wind" while somebody plays acoustic guitar in the back. And ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly what I want for my funeral. Like, if my sister's listening, and I know she is, I want somebody on acoustic guitar playing "Dust in the Wind" while someone sings. I think that's my final wish.
Like ironically or sincerely?
A little of both.
Half and half? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
mix it up. Yeah.
All right, all right. Good
Close.
to know.
I don't know why, but like this scene does get a kick at. It makes me.
I mean, it's very funny. It's one of the funnier things in the movie. I mean, yeah, a lot of this movie holds up pretty well.
Yeah.
Some of it not so much. Part of
Mm,
that's just time marching on, but
yeah. Yeah, and of
but
course,
you know, like the smash cut to the funeral, that's still funny.
yeah, you're my boy, Blue.
Yep.
You're my boy. I people. I remember a lot of people saying that after this movie came out. Just hey, just drunkenly screaming out, "You're my boy, Blue." Just
Yep.
just apropos of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at
Yeah.
this so at this point, Frank and Marissa finally they talk at the funeral.
And she
Um,
says, like, "Oh, it's been a wild month, right?" Like, so everything we've seen so far has been contained within a month,
yeah,
and they've been married for less than a month, and they are already separated on their way to divorce.
yeah. I think at this point she apologizes for not calling him on his birthday, and Frank's like, "What?" It's like your birthday. You did you forget again? It's like, damn
Yeah,
it, I did.
yeah, because he's such a chronic drinker, he literally forgot his birthday.
Right. And then of course Marissa says, "Yeah, I think maybe we rushed into this. Maybe we should get a divorce." And Frank is like, "Oh, like a real divorce?"
Yeah,
And yeah, it looks like they're headed for divorce town. And also, meanwhile, we see that Dean Pritchard is hatching a scheme to try to get the frat shut down. He meets up with yes, yes, lightning
that's
thunder.
his evil laugh.
Yes,
I'm
rubbing his
presuming.
hands together in his
Right,
lair. He talks to Megan Wang, who's the student body president, who's the one that and that gave the frat like a temporary status, and she's the
right.
only one that can revoke it. So the
Which
dean,
seems like a weird way to do things. Like you want to give the student body power over that?
I yeah, that look, it's been a while since I've been in college, but I'm pretty sure I don't think it works like that. But let's
Yeah,
just go with it. Let's just go with it.
go with it. It's a movie. I mean, come on. It's a movie where Will Ferrell streaks and gets tranked.
Yeah,
So obviously, realism not a high priority here.
not the highest at all. So of course the dean says, "Hey, hey Megan Wang, I see you're trying to get into Columbia Law. I know people at Columbia Law. I could get you into Columbia Law if you revoke the charter. So just good old fashioned bribery.
Yep, yep, yep.
Absolutely. And yeah, so then we see that Nicole and her boyfriend Mark are going to move in together. They find a house. Um, Nicole tells Mark that, oh yeah, I talked to Mitch about this, and he says it's a good deal. Then Mark's like, oh, you talked to him? Oh, I don't know. Like I
Oh
didn't want
yeah,
to
he's
say
kind
anything.
of a jerk.
Yeah, like he's like I didn't want to say anything, but like I saw Mitch being really inappropriate with the wait staff, and like just notching up the douchebaggery jerkness levels
Yes.
to unfathomable levels.
Yeah, and basically saying that Mitch did the inappropriate stuff that he did, that Craig Kilborn did.
Right.
And also like Mitch is single right now. If he wants to hook up with a waitstaff person, a caterer, he's allowed to. You, the one with the girlfriend, you are the one who is not allowed to.
Yeah, that does.
That's not the horrible thing that you seem to think it is.
Yeah, he's just being a bro.
Yeah.
What's the problem, bro? You don't like the party?
So
Yeah, that does make sense. Wow, I never thought of it that way. That does make a lot
yeah,
of sense.
yeah, and yeah, and we see, Mitch he's got quite a status because like it's basically thought of as his fraternity, and he's being called the Godfather. He's getting like free food around town
Yeah,
and stuff, and Nicole thinks that all this horrible stuff is true because of course he runs into Elisha Cuthbert's character Darcy at the diner where they're having some coffee, and she's wearing like a high school lacrosse team jacket.
yeah, and so Nicole and me is like, oh, he hangs around with high school girls. Okay,
Right. That's not cool.
yeah. So that kind of puts the kibosh on anything they had going on between them, because like
Right.
we do learn like early on that she did have they knew, like I said, they knew each other back in the day, and she had a crush on him, and he had a
Back
crush
in
on her
high school. Yeah,
back in
there
high
was some
school.
mutual crushery going on.
Yeah, but no one acted on it. So they're thinking, oh,
No,
maybe we
well,
can.
neither one knew,
Neither
and
one knew.
so
Oh,
yeah,
the
so
one that
yeah,
got away.
tragically, they did not get together back in high school
Yeah.
when
Past like
they were young and they had their whole lives ahead of them.
uh,
Now they're like broken down people in their 30s, and
yep.
yeah,
30. That's when it all breaks down.
oh, that's when it all starts going to hell. Yeah,
Right. it's, it's right. That's the sharp descent begins at
right,
30.
right. I mean, by Hollywood standards, yes,
Yeah. Oh. Mm. I mean, yeah, I can't refute that.
yeah,
So, yeah, so at this point, Nicole thinks Mitch is a jerk. Frank is getting divorced. And oh, hey, look at this. Mitch got evicted from his house.
right, and also Blue's dead.
And Blue's dead. And
Yeah,
so the frat meets up at a Comfort Inn. They watch a video that the dean provided them saying that, the house is, no one can be in the house anymore. And all the students have been expelled from the
right.
college.
And he says, I'll give you a moment for that to sink in,"
Yeah,
and he's just quiet for a moment. That's funny. That's cute.
exactly. So of course now this is the big moment where everybody rallies to save the frat. Mitch gets his coworkers involved to do some groundwork, see what can be done.
Right.
Uh,
The two coworkers, Matt Walsh and Arlie Lang, who both desperately want to be in the fraternity because they are both unhappy suburban guys. Matt Walsh's character is married. I don't think Artie Lang's character is married.
I don't
Uh,
think so, but yeah, he's in his thirties.
but they both want this outlet this fraternity provides.
Yeah, they're in their 30s. They work in an office. Ergo, they're miserable. So they
Right.
really
They
want.
can't start up a fight club, so this
Yeah,
is the next best thing.
exactly. And they find out what Pritchard did was actually illegal, and they are subject to a charter certification. So once they pass the charter review, which is divided up into a debate, academics, and school spirit, then
Right.
they could get the frat back and be
Yeah.
reinstated. That includes the students and the people who don't even go to the college.
Right. Which again, this seems like sort of shaky on legal grounds, but
It really does. It
movie's
really,
gonna movie.
yeah. Like, don't think about it too much. Here's Will Ferrell's ass. Look at that.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So we get a humorous montage of them doing these things. They're doing the academic test. They're of course cheating because they've got the two of Mitch's coworkers on the outside in a van. They're looking up the answers in books and on the internet, and
Uh,
then feeding it to everybody through like this audio. They've got like the little earwig things
right.
that nobody notices.
Nope, not at all.
Uh,
At one point, they have the debate portion. They have to debate about government and biotechnology, and so it's the frat against James Carville, or that comes in a cameo and debates on the school's behalf.
who is yeah? If you don't remember James Carville anymore, he was in the Clinton administration. He was the guy who ran Bill Clinton's first presidential campaign, and he was like omnipresent 20 years ago.
He was known out here in these
Yeah,
streets.
I mean, he was at the time he was hosting Crossfire, which I forgot was a thing that he did.
Oh, that's
But
right.
yeah, he they say that in the intro. He was the host of Crossfire. So this, I guess, was it the pre Tucker Carlson era?
Probably, yeah. It was a better time.
Probably. Yeah, it was Tucker Carlson and some other dude who doesn't matter. But
Right. Maybe it was like Hannity and Combs era, even. Remember that?
I remember Hannity and Combs. Yeah. Um,
Mm.
and then the Combs just went away, and then they were like, just oh, now it's just the conservative guy, and we don't need a liberal guy for balance. But hey, yeah, no, Fox News still fair and balanced. Yeah. Anyway, so James Carville's in this movie.
Yes. And I did like this scene where it's Will Ferrell about to debate James Carville, and they talk about, this is about biotechnology and the government, and then he just comes in and says, "Hey, do you mind if I take this first?" And James
Right.
Carville's like, "Oh, have at it, Hoss." And then Will Ferrell's character Frank just goes into this really well thought out, really,
Very articulate answer. Yeah.
yeah. And then James Carville has no answer, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that was a perfect answer," and they
Right.
win. But Will Ferrell doesn't know what he said because he blacked out.
Right.
He's like, "What happened? What I say?" I blacked out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cute. It kind of reminds me a bit of the thing in Back to School where they have like Kurt Vonnegut come in.
Yes, yes, I
You
remember
know,
that.
we got the ringer come in, but this time the ringer's on the other side. It reminded me a little bit of that.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, wow, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And then we got other things. We got the school spirit competition, so we get a little dance sequence where everybody's going dancing to "Everybody Dance Now," bow,
Bam,
bow,
bam,
bow, bow, bow.
bam.
And they're doing like a sort of cheerleader majorette routine,
Yeah.
and
Give me
it's
the music.
it's funny because it's a lot of schlubby guys doing it.
Right, exactly. Schlubby dudes dancing is hilarious. That's
Yeah,
like whenever
but
you.
they're choreographed well.
They are. Yeah.
It's a decent routine. They point out in the commentary that Luke Wilson is like about a half step behind everybody, but you know it's kind of funny.
It happens.
Yeah,
It happens. But yeah, and of course we see Will Ferrell in the mascot, the college mascot uniform, and he's about to jump into a flaming hoop, and it's like, let's do this. And of course he totally misses the hoop. He lands on the flaming hoop and just catches the
catches on fire.
entire
Yeah,
suit on fire. He's ablaze.
flaming hoops. Those are a big thing with college mascots.
Yeah, I was about to say, like I've never. This all seems very unsafe. Like a fire indoors,
Yes,
inside the gymnasium. We're gonna do this
yes,
with. Okay, all right.
yeah.
Uh,
But
yeah,
it's funny. It's
it's
funny.
hilarious.
We got like an acrobat stuntman or whatever just going in and doing the flame gag, and then we've got Will Ferrell coming in after and dubbing in funny screams.
Yeah. So at this point, while they're putting out the fire, we see Pritchard and Megan Wang having a talk. While in the background, we see like firefighters running to the gymnasium. Megan Wang calls out Pritchard, saying, "Hey, I just called Columbia Law. No one's even heard of you over there. Like, well, you said if I did what I did, you would hold up your end of the bargain." And Dean Pritchard's like, "Yeah, whatever. This, people back out of deals all the time. Lesson learned." So keep
Yeah, he's like that's how a bribe is supposed to work, and he's like, I know how bribes work. I bribe people all the time, and that'll be important later.
Mm, absolutely.
That'll be important later. That's going to come back and bite him on the ass in about 10 minutes screen
Right.
time.
Yeah. You just
But
wait.
first, more comedic hijinks with montages. We got Vince Vaughn lifting himself up on the rings with the cigarette dangling out of his mouth. That was in all the trailers. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah. And we see Frank do a little ribbon dancing thing.
Yeah, yeah. And apparently, originally Luke Wilson was supposed to do that, but he wasn't feeling up to it on the day, so they had Will Ferrell step in and do that.
Right. Absolutely.
And they got
I
the theme for Chariots of Fire playing.
Yeah. Actually, I think Will Ferrell doing it's even better. It's even funnier.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's funnier.
Absolutely. And then of course we have. I think at the very last point they want somebody to do the vault over the horse, the riding horse thing.
Sure.
And of course Pritchard chooses Weensy, the heavyset gentleman, to do
Hmm.
it. And of course he does it, and we see like a large man flying through the air
Right.
over a horse.
Aided by CGI.
Yes, absolutely. CGI, wires, hydraulics, the whole shebang.
Right. Right. It's kind of like in the second Austin Powers, where like Fat Bastard is doing that big tumble through the midair, and then except we don't have a gag at the end where his rope breaks.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's perfect, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I am good. I am good with the metaphors
you are
and the
good.
similes.
Yeah, you're good with the words, my man. You're good with
Me
it.
use words good.
Yeah, Hulk not good with words. Yeah. So at this point, it seems like they've done really well, and the frat seems like, oh, we aced it, we did it, we win.
We
Uh,
we passed with like an 84%, which is good enough to do the thing and continue on with the fraternity.
right. But then Pritchard comes in and saying, actually, no, you guys didn't win because one of your frat members got a zero in all the categories. Joseph Blue Pulaski. And they were like, "Well, Blue's dead. He died. He died like 2 weeks ago."
Yeah.
And it's like, "Yeah, but his name is still on the charter, and since he didn't score in any of the categories, he brings your average down to failing. So yeah, sorry guys, it's been a journey, but no." Which of course is total horseshit.
Wah wah wah. Yeah. So yeah, like his because he gets a zero and everything that brings the group average down to like 50 odd something, which is a failing grade, and yeah, they can't. Yeah, they can't continue on.
Right. They lose. They get
Yeah,
nothing. Good day, sir.
the end.
Right. But yeah, so as
And
they're
that's the movie, guys.
yeah, it ended on a real weird note for a comedy, but
Weird down note. Yeah, very
hmm.
surprising. I don't know why I said that thing about Dean Pritchard committing bribes was going to come back and bite him in the ass. It doesn't at all.
Yeah, it's
Um,
weird. It's weird.
yeah,
Well, actually,
weird downbeat ending to this movie.
yeah, John, did you watch the rest of the movie, or did you stop at a certain point? Because I think there was a little bit more in the post.
Really?
Yeah, it was in the post movie scenes.
Huh?
Yeah, because apparently later on, as the boys are licking their wounds, and the Pritchard is taunting them mercilessly because he's a dick, then Megan comes in and saying, "Hey, boys, I had this little tape I thought you might want to hear," and turns out she recorded uh, Pritchard's admission that he bribed her to expel the group.
Wah,
Uh,
wah, wah.
yes, twist. Uh,
Yeah.
Dean Pritchard hears that, and of course acts as any rational person would, grabs the tape and runs away immediately.
Yes.
And of course they run at. Of course the guys run after him. Frank catches up to him inside one of the college buildings, and of course Pritchard assaults him immediately, slaps him in the face, throws him into a glass cabinet. The two of them tussle into like a lecture hall, and they tumble all the way down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because the way Farrell is being Will Ferrell's character is not being aggressive at all. He's like, "Hey man, let's talk this out," and just Jeremy Piven just not having it, just like a boot to the face for Farrell, and it's just like literally like just beating the snot out of him. And of course, the two of them end up in front of a lecture class. Uh, Pritchard says, "This man accosted me. You all saw it," and he just runs away in the
Mm-hmm.
night screaming.
I don't remember any of this.
Oh, did you not? Oh, you gotta watch it again, buddy. It's in the bonus
No, I
scenes.
think I'm good. I think
Okay.
I'm good.
Then of course, well, at this point we see Mitch catching up to them. We see Mitch comforting Frank. He's on the ground saying, "Oh my God, Mitch, hold me. I'm so cold. I see blue. He looks glorious."
Yeah.
And of course, we see that Frank actually was able to get the tape from Pritchard right before he left. So our boys win in the end. Uh, yeah,
Yay!
cut to Pritchard gets fired, the boys get reinstated, and the frat moves into Pritchard's old house, his old domicile. So they've upgraded
Right.
their digs, and
Right.
we also see Mitch decides to move out. He's moving out the
I don't
house.
understand why they just can't get the old house back, but
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
yeah, because like whoever's going to be the new dean is going to stay in the dean's house, right?
You would think?
You would think.
Yes.
You would think, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. Here's Will Ferrell's butt. Don't think. Don't think. Don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. True. True. True.
Yeah. So the dean gets fired. Mitch decides to hang up the frat life, and
Right. He moves out.
he moves out.
He's getting a new place
He meets up with
because he was in that house for 6 whole weeks, so obviously trying to move on to a new place.
It really wasn't that long. The whole thing.
No, I think the entire movie takes place in like less than 2 months.
That's bonkers. So Mitch also meets up with Nicole. Nicole's like, "Hey, I just want to say sorry for everything. You were right about Mark. She caught him. She just said she caught him red-handed. They don't ever go into explain what that means. I just assume she walked in on him.
Yeah, I guess he was just cheating again with someone else, some other random caterer person,
Right.
and
And
yeah,
yeah, and then the two of them rekindle and decide to date again. Frank becomes the new college DJ at the college. The frat moves into the dean's old house, and
right.
Frank kind of becomes like the new head of the frat, I guess, in a way. And then yeah, and then he I think what like Matt Walsh and Artie Lang's character helps him hang up a picture of the Godfather,
Right.
Mitch's character, and
Nice portrait of him over the mantle.
yeah, and then that's the film, guys. Uh,
It's a film. Happy endings all round.
yeah, good guys win, bad guys lose, and actually bad guys die because we also have a mid credits scene, which is
Yeah.
totally bananas. We see Mark, Craig Kilborn's character, speed down the highway in his douchebag sports car.
Right.
Then we also cut to
Smoking a J.
smoking a J, total
He just
badass.
doesn't care.
Yeah, he lives life by his own rules, bruh.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Dean Pritchard, who's just fishing underneath a bridge, just whistling a happy tune.
Right.
I think at one point Mitch drops something, but then he gets up and sees cars coming at him, so he swerves to miss the car. He drives off the bridge, drives onto Pritchard, who's in the boat, who says, "Oh shit!" The whole thing ends up in a big explosion. Two of them die.
Yes.
Cut to Blue in heaven playing "Dustin in the Wind" on piano.
Yeah. So apparently Blue engineered this from heaven. So apparently you can arrange hits on people from heaven.
If that's the truth, man, I can't wait. I'm making. I got a list with me.
You've already got the list. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Somebody.
Aaron's got his homicides all planned out.
That's
People.
right. Somebody's
So
gonna catch
stay
me.
on his good side.
That's right. You're all going. A lot of people going down. A lot of my enemies going down.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I'm a little scared. Wow. Okay. And we also see Frank run into Mitch's ex-girlfriend Heidi, the one who was having the orgy at the beginning of the film. Uh, they run into each other at the supermarket, and we get the feeling that Heidi is going to hook up with Frank now.
Yes, because she invites him over to some party. Just some internet friends, just like really
Right.
chill. And of course,
Yeah.
Frank knows Heidi's down to play, so he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna bone my
He's back in the game.
I'm gonna bone my
Back in the
friend.
game.
I'm gonna bone my friend's ex." All right.
And we see Beanie. He's like coaching a little league soccer thing.
Yeah, and just like screaming and being Beanie.
Right.
You know.
And he's kind of like rediscovered domestic bliss with his wife Leah Remini or something. I don't know. Like Beanie kind of disappears in the
Yeah,
last bit of this movie.
yeah,
I wish Beanie had more of a plot to tie up. You know?
yeah. I kind of wish he had more of an arc because it did feel like he was kind of living vicariously through Mitch at some point. I like to maybe
Yeah.
explore that a little bit more because yeah, he's married with two kids, but he's the one like so gung ho about having the parties and starting to frat.
Well,
But
we see him in one scene where he's like, got a young lady in his room at the party, and she's kind of down to, she's hot to trot, but he's like, oh, you know what, I'm actually married, I can't really do this, and so we find out that Beanie's probably more all talk,
yeah, he's all bluster. He's all almost kind of like maybe like Phil's character in The Hangover, which was a future Todd Phillips film,
Yeah,
where he's like a married guy who talks about hooking up and kind of living the wild life, but in the end, he's not about that.
yeah,
I'd say.
yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the film, guys. Old school smash hit film, 20 years ago. Wowie, wow, wow. I think for the most part, it still holds up. Like, there's still a few things here and there that.
It holds up okay. I think, like, my main criticism of it, like one, well, no real surprises left because I was very familiar with this film before. So, it's never going to make me laugh as hard as it did back in the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, and like I said before, I feel like a lot of funny people are underutilized. I mean, because Eddie Pepitone, Rob Corddry, Lee Remini, Simon Helberg, folks like that. They can bring the funny, but they don't have too many opportunities in this movie, and I feel like that's kind of a shame. I wish it was a bit more of an ensemble like Animal House.
Yeah, I would say that too. Like, it seems like they gave a lot of the good lines to either Vince Vaughn or Will Ferrell. Like, the two of them
Right.
were pretty much.
Or they just like let them improv and
Yeah.
have at it.
That's true.
And
And
I feel it would be an even better movie if those other folks had more to do. You know,
yeah, like if they gave those people more to do, if they gave the women in this film anything to do, like I feel like it would
something
have.
to do besides a BJ class.
Yes, BJ class, and just like you see Eliza Cuthbert the next morning in some states of undress.
Some
Yeah,
shorts just riding right up her.
hey now,
Which
Maxim.
apparently they did not tell her about before they started rolling. And I'm like, well, that's not cool.
Oh, did they not?
That is what I have heard. I think I read that somewhere in an interview with Elisha Cuthbert, where she
Oh,
was like, yeah, they didn't tell me that was going on before they started rolling.
oh, fuck me!
So
Whoa,
apparently she was not unaware, and that's a little creepy.
yikes! It's a Maxim movie.
Yep, it really is, and with all that implies.
Remember when Maxim magazines were just everywhere? Just,
Back in 2003, that was the thing. That was the
oof,
thing, and I believe they're still going.
I guess,
But
but yeah, they
yeah,
definitely had a. It was like them, and there was like another one that was like them, and oh, yeah, it was.
there was Maxim, there was Stuff, there was FHM. I think Maxim and Stuff were owned by the same publishing people.
That makes
I think
sense.
Stuff was like maybe like a spinoff of Maxim, if I remember right.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
But
sense. But
I mean, very similar thing. Like, because I think the whole appeal of those magazines was you'd have like the bigger name stars who wouldn't like do Playboy, but they would like, oh yeah, I'll do underwear and lingerie for Maxim or Stuff,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so that was kind of their brand.
Like, oh yeah, you could see Rosario Dawson or whatever. And now, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, what a time! What a time!
What a time! What a time! You know, it's early 2000s before everyone had a good internet connection. So
Yeah.
we had a need for things like Old School and Maxim, and
Yes.
now not so much.
No, we got boobies on our phones now.
If you want them to be there, yes.
If you want, yeah, you can't. They don't come with the phone. They don't. They're not part of the Verizon plan.
Yeah, no, that was not part of my AT&T plan.
No, you got to know somebody.
I guess so. I guess so.
Okay, and
So Old School. Still thumbs up?
uh, yeah, I think I would
I'd
say
say
so.
marginal thumbs up for me.
Marginal, yeah. I think it's
You know,
still. It's more nostalgia for me that why I like it. But yeah, like if I was being honest, maybe it's not as great as I remember it, but I'll give it a marginal thumbs up just because
it's an all right movie. You know,
yeah,
it's I guess like worth a rental
yeah, I would say so.
if you haven't seen it before and we haven't just wrecked it for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, check it out.
check it out. And yeah, that's our episode, guys. Thanks for listening, as always, to our kooky little podcast. And next
Yeah.
week, we got a brand new episode of SNL coming out, April 1st.
Yay!
Quinta Brunson and Little Yachty.
Yeah, I is that how it's pronounced? Yakti?
I know I was being a little goof.
Oh, you were doing a thing.
It's
Okay.
yacht. It's I'm hip enough to know it's Yachty.
Okay. You gave me that moment of panic there. Like, is that his name? What? Holy shit! Have I been saying it wrong?
It's actually pronounced Yate.
Yate. Ooh.
But yeah, Quinta Brunson, of course, from Abbott Elementary's had been having a banner year, just
hmm
winning all the awards and just just really in the spotlight with the show that just took off like a rocket in the past few
Yeah.
years.
So we'll see what she brings to the party. It'll be fun. It's always
Yeah,
kind of exciting when a new person hosts.
yeah. I think she'll be a strong host. Like I know she definitely has comedic timing from the sitcom. I know she has done stand up, and she had, from what I remember, in an old not old, but an interview I heard her do on like Hollywood Report or something. Like she did take like improv classes back in the day, so she does have a bit of an improv background. So I think
Right.
I think this is
Well,
good.
that'll come in very handy on the show that's rigorously scripted and timed, and where they really frown on improv.
Yes,
So
yes,
that'll.
fair
I
point.
was watching a video this week on, and I can't remember who did it. It might have been Miss Mojo or somebody, but they were talking about 10 weird things about SNL, and one of them was like that they hire so many people with improv backgrounds, and then the show and Lorne Michaels in particular, they so frown on improv.
Yeah,
That's an interesting point. It's like you have to be really good at improv to get on SNL, and then when you get on SNL, don't do improv.
don't do what you do.
And I'm like, that is kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, but I recognize that's, they have to do it for timing reasons, if nothing else, because they don't want to throw off the whole show.
Yeah.
And apparently, like on every live show after Weekend Update, that's when they take a look, and they take a look at the timing, and they see how off they are, and they figure out if they have to cut anything or cut something down, or
Yeah.
so
That makes sense. I mean, there are a few moments here and there where you can
Mhm.
improv a little bit, but yeah, for the most
Yeah.
part, it's a pretty tightly run machine.
Yeah, but of course, I mean, it's never going to go exactly how you plan.
Yeah.
And even Lorne has said, that there are good improv moments. The one he would always cite in an interview where uh, Steve Martin was talking with Bill Murray on the show, and he said something like, "Oh, have you ever been on TV before?" And Bill Murray just said, "Oh, once in a long shot at a baseball game," and that wasn't planned. And it was, and Bill Murray was just so fast, it didn't phase him at all. He just like said that off the cuff, and it was very funny.
Mm.
So like moments like that, Lorne likes.
Okay.
Dressing up and introducing the musical guest in a reggae voice, not so
Ooh.
much.
Oh boy, that's
Not so much.
yeah, guys. Look up Adrian Brody SNL if you don't know what we're talking about. But that was
Yeah.
what was that?
Yeah.
The fuck?
He also doesn't really like it when you start playing a song, stop playing it a few bars in, and then suddenly decide, I'm going to play this song instead.
Yeah.
And then glare angrily at the producer of the show while he is allegedly giving you the finger from off camera.
Yeah. He also doesn't like it if you're a Wayne's brother who decides to switch up his character in the middle of a live sketch and
suddenly play it mega super gay.
Yeah. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that.
Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. What else is he not a fan of?
What else
who else is he blacklisted from the show?
What else does Lorne hate? Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal, of course. I mean, as we all do.
Yeah. That goes without saying.
Anyway, yeah, look it up. People who've been blacklisted from SNL. You'll find a bunch of good stories.
Oh, indeed. Oh boy.
Anyway. So thanks for listening, subscribing, rating, and reviewing. We love it when you do that, and or commenting and stuff like that. We enjoy that. You can follow us on the Twitter at SNL Nerds Show.
And
for as long as Twitter is here, we'll see.
Yeah, it's still here, so I guess
we're gonna ride that ship down.
Yeah. Once it's totally defunct, that's when we hop off.
Yeah.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible. That's DARIN Credible.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Trumbull Comic, TRUMBULL, and the word comic.
Right.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll see you next week for Quinta Brunson. But until then.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, yeah, like you were just very quiet, and I wasn't sure if you were still there.
Well, I am. I was just waiting for you to say your big closer.
Okay, all right. Well, we had a little misunderstanding there.
I was giving you space to breathe, and I thought, like, okay. Go.
But until then, nerds out.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.